Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Danger here, and welcome to a Gren Maju Control deck profile. Now, I just took this to locals tonight, which is the 14th, so I took this to locals and it got top 5, which I am very proud of. It's the first time I've ever topped, and I really wanted to show you guys this deck profile just because, I top with this deck, so it's also just to show that Gren Maju can still perform even in this control heavy format, so let's get into the profile. 3 Gren Maju, obviously, because he is your big beat stick. Eater of Millions is a great card to out a lot of things right now, because it's non-target, banish, face down, so they can't retrieve it, and Virtual World cannot do anything against it. Because in order to use the continuous trap, they have to have 2 Virtual Worlds with different names. So Eater banishes face down, they can't use the trap. Gizmek's obviously in here because removal, and also because it gets a lot of banished for Gren Maju. Pankratops is just the one-off, just because Pankratops is honestly a really good card no matter what format you use it in. Even if you're locked under Macro, Cosmos, or Dimensional Fissure, or anything else, Pankratops' effect will always go off because it is just tribute 1 Dino Wrestler monster. It's a field-activated effect. For hand traps, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Droll and Lockbird. The reason we're running Droll is because a lot of the decks right now still like adding to the hand, like Drytron. 2 Nibiru, this actually came up quite a bit against, this normally came up against Virtual World, but I never really got the chance to properly use it. But yeah, Nibiru is still, honestly, a pretty situational but good hand trap, but could easily be setted out. And then 1-dimensional shifter. I was fine with just the 1 shifter tonight. I did side in other ones, but I'm only main decking 1 just because I don't quite know what the matchup is. I don't know if it's graveyard focused or not, so I can depend on whether or not I want to keep shifter in for the next game or if I want to side it out. Moving on to spells. Staples. 3 Desires. 3 Extravagances. I'm also running 2 Super Polys. This was really nice at my locals, because it can work easily with really any deck, but the best target you do have is Mud Dragon, unfortunately, because not that many decks are as dark focused as it used to be. Well, compared from when I started playing, not many of them are dark focused as they used to be, but 2 Super Polys still work out pretty well. For one-offs, 1-dimensional Fissure, 1 Mind Control, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Called By, and the 1 Monster Reborn. For traps, we have Macrocosmos. 3 there can only be 1s because you're running so many different types of monsters that the only duplicates you really have are Gren and Eater. And then just for easy cards to use, Solemn Strike and Solemn Judgment, these 2 came up quite a bit. Solemn Strike actually helped me get rid of a Dragoon. So what happened is the situation was he went to attack with Dragoon, he attacked Eater effect, and then he tried negating with Dragoon, so Solemn Strike, negate Dragoon, doesn't get destroyed, but does get banished face down by Eater of Millions effect. So that was a great moment for that. On to the extra deck. 2 Starving Venom Fusion Dragons, 2 Predaplant Dracostapelia, 3 Mud Dragons. One of these would be a 7 Sins, it just hasn't come in yet. 1 Sanafont, 1 Hope Harbinger, 1 Zombie Stein, and 1 Pain Gainer. I have that in here because I thought the person who was drawing locals had 7 Suns. He didn't, but I still keep it in here anyways just because I like the card. And then Wee Witch, Unicorn, Zero Boros. You never go into these links. You never go into the links. You don't really go into any of the XCs either. I've never gone into these XCs. I didn't go into them tonight. They didn't really come in useful. It's just nice to have a full extra deck. Wee Witch can actually get you out of a situation where you're needing to get out a Gren Maju to attack for game. It didn't come up in tournament today or last week, but this came in a couple times while playtesting on EDO. I had, I believe it was an Eater of Millions and a Gizmek linked to into Wee Witch. Wee Witch's Fiend is now open to be summoned under There Can Only Be One. Summon Gren Maju, and that just that's how that went from there. And let me show you what the side deck was. So the side deck is 3 DD Crow, 2 Inspector Border, the other 2 Dimension Shifter, and so DD Crow is mainly in here just for Drytron. I didn't cite it in any other time. Inspector Borders, if I know it's like a monster effect heavy deck, so what I'll do is I'll side an Inspector Border, and then I'll surprise them by going first. And normally when I did that, I opened up Inspector Border. One was against a Virtual World deck, the other one was against Rhapsodies for Hires. So side deck in Inspector Border, normal summon, can't use monster effects. So that was really great, but unfortunately he did get around. Unfortunately, Rhapsody did get around it, and that's what made me most sad. Is Rhapsody got around it. Dimension Shifter is just in here because I can easily take out any of the hand traps I listed. Well, actually, any of the hand traps I ran as 2-offs, like Nibiru and Droll and Lockbird, I could easily swap out if it depends to it. Because I normally did that with Dimension Shifter. I think I did that like once or twice where I had to side out with Dimension Shifter and put this in instead. Then my side deck's like completely weird. So, 1 Gizmek, an Upstart Goblin, 3 Banquet of Millions. I don't even think I need to tell you how... I don't think I need to tell you anything about this card. That card can just go over there. A Pointer, and then a side deck Fusion. So, Gizmex in case I do want to do more banishing and I need more removal. Upstart's just in here because I was experimenting around with the deck. 3 Banquets is just, if it's an extra deck, heavy focus deck, I can easily get their extra deck out if I do go Inspector first, but I never side Banquet in. I honestly think I might take Banquet out because I never side in for it and I never really find it too useful considering I'm always normally going second. But I think I might leave it in here just for now, or I might take it out. I don't know. This is just my hate card. If you make me mad, I pull this out on you. This card is annoying to duel against. It pains me that it's in here, but at the same time, if my opponent deserves it, they deserve it. That Trickstar is basically how I feel about today's meta right now. A Pointer just because I pulled an Ionis. I think it's a good card if I were to actually side it in and go first. But once again, this could probably be moved out for anything. And then Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon is because there's a zombie player at our locals who plays zombies like all the time and nothing else. So in case I dueled her, I put this in here. So yeah. So the deck honestly performed a whole lot better than I was expecting. And as I was driving home, I was told that I got top 5 with it because I went 3 wins and 1 loss. And I'm really happy with this deck. I'm really happy how it turned out. I love the fact that Gren Maju is just normal summon game. And I love that aspect of the deck, while at the same time, you can play it to where you have to try and work around your opponent, like with the Judgments and Strikes, there can only be 1. Like, you can lock down your opponent and have full control of the game. Because what happened one game is the zombie player at our locals, she was under There Can Only Be One, Dimensional Fissure, her own Rivalry of Warlords, and an Eater of Million on the board. She couldn't beat over this as I had 3,300 attack. She couldn't summon anything else but dark zombies. And with Zombie World on the field, all I had was a dark zombie. And then I also ran Dimensional Fissure if she wanted to use something like Doom King. So honestly, this deck can be very oppressive when it wants to be. Yet at the same time, it could also just be a hot piece of garbage. But it really wasn't. It really wasn't that tonight. Like, Gren Maju Control actually performed a whole lot better than I was expecting, and I'm really proud of this deck. I'm really proud of myself. I'm sad that I didn't actually top with my favorite deck of all time, which is Armed Dragon Catapult Cannon, but that's a different story. But I'm just still happy that this deck performed well and I got my first top tonight. So I just thought I would share that tidbit of information. And I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and I hope it gave you some good ideas for your deck. This has been Danger, and I'll talk to you guys later.